Hello and welcome to episode 12, the Never Split Up podcast. We got the menu for you guys today. I'm Nolan, joined by Anthony. How you doing today, Ant?
Good. How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm excited for this episode. We got another new release, and I always love covering new releases. I was able to watch it again yesterday. The last time we talked about this movie, I hadn't watched it at all. That was our top 10 episode of 2022. So the menu was released in 2022, and it was on your top 10. So guys,
It was.
check out that episode. It was on Ant's top 10. I hadn't seen it yet. That was a few weeks ago at the end of the year. So since then, I've seen it 3 times now. So yeah, just to prep for this episode, and I'm really excited to talk about it. There's we can do 5 hours on this movie just talking about the metaphors and the dialogue and how excellent the cast is, but we'll try to keep it under a couple hours for you guys. But yeah, a lot to talk about. This movie's available on HBO Max. That's how I watched it. I didn't see it in theaters. I know, Ant, you saw it in theaters. And again,
Yes.
2022, it's a horror comedy. HBO Max, definitely check it out before you listen, because we're going to be getting into some spoilers. But yeah, you want to go over just your overall thoughts and the synopsis and stuff?
Yeah. So I'll go first just because it's kind of a giveaway that I love this movie because it's on my top 10.
Yeah.
This movie it took me by surprise. I didn't really watch that many advertisements for it before I went to go see it. I just knew it was like a dark, comedy horror satire with Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor Joy. When I went to see it, I was pretty like blown away by all the shit going on in this movie. It's crazy, mean, dark, dark, dark. I would say it's extra dark comedy. And it just has a very twisted sense of humor. And if you know me by now, I like my dark, twisted stuff. So this movie goes to some mean places. And yeah, this is my kind of horror comedy. This movie's made for someone like me. The cast, they're all fantastic. And you just wait to see what's gonna happen with the next course, and it just only just builds and builds and builds to some crazy shit going on. So yeah, this was my number 5 movie of 2022, so I had a blast with it. I saw it once in theaters, twice when it came out on HBO Max, and I meant to watch it again, didn't have time because I got the Blu-ray. It'll be a good conversation.
Yeah, and credit to you said you didn't really know much about this movie. Same with me. I saw the trailers, but credit to whoever the marketing team was or whatever, because I think they did a good job of keeping this movie under wraps for the most part and letting people just go in a little blind. They didn't reveal too much. I
Right.
hate when studios reveal too much, especially um,
Blumhouse.
this is a horror comedy, but it's like a yeah, yeah. You mentioned that before, yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah, I do love Blumhouse, but they do kind of get a little crazy with their trailers. But
It's too
yeah,
much.
this is a horror comedy, but it's an intense thriller. It's a mystery. You don't know what the hell's going on until like over halfway through the movie. So and you even when you like shit hits the fan, you still don't know how this movie's going to end. So they could have easily threw in some money shots in the trailer, but
Right.
revealed some of what the movie was going to be, and they didn't do that. So I really appreciate that.
It's just like I would describe it as like it's like what the fuck is going on kind of movie. Like you're always that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, yeah, and this movie has so many layers to it because when I watched it for the first time, that was my mentality the entire movie, like trying to figure out what the hell is going on and what the hell is going to happen. But when I went back and watched it a second time and a third time, it was I was able to dive into the characters more and figure out why the characters are doing what they're doing, especially Ralph Fiennes' character, the chef. I forget his
He's
name.
excellent, by the
I just
way.
call him Chef Slowick. I just call him Chef.
Yeah.
He's excellent, but it's watching him and his reactions to certain things and his dialogue really takes on a new meaning. I think the second time you watch it, you kind of understand him a little
Yes.
bit better. So why don't you? We didn't cover the synopsis yet. Why don't you just do the
Okay, yeah, let
synopsis?
me get into the
Yeah,
synopsis and then we'll go over some of the actors and then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take the IMDb synopsis. A young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. That's an understatement. Um, this
Mhm.
movie is directed by Mark Mylod. I think I saw that he directed, mostly a few episodes of Game of Thrones, Shameless, Succession. So he's in a lot of TV stuff he's involved with. But like you said, it stars Ralph Fiennes as Chef Slowick, Anya Taylor-Joy as Margot. We have Nicholas Holt as Tyler. Hong Chow, she stole the first watch. She cracked me up, but then when I watched, I'm like, damn, she's really good. She stole every scene she was in. Hong Chow, Elsa, she's like the head assistant chef. She's the host.
Yeah.
I thought she was great. And then we have a bunch of other characters we'll get into as we get into the plot. There's a lot of actors in this movie, but like I said, this cast is amazing, and it's a good it's a critique on like the 1%, the rich, how they're like not thankful, like no matter what they have, how much privilege they have, they're never satisfied, and they're just they're pretentious assholes. But it's also a commentary on the service industry, and I like how it's not too preachy because the person who is punishing these rich people is the chef Slowick, and clearly he's also pretty insane. So it's not like something we're supposed to pick sides. It's just like it's a bunch of bad people besides Margot in this situation. And it's not like a preachy movie. It's just, a critique, and it's has a lot of commentary. So I like that nothing's shoved down my throat. It's just fun, funny, and it's just about some asshole people.
I love the way they introduce this commentary too, because it's the POV is pretty much through Margot. It's not like a
Yes.
total POV movie, but she's our main protagonist. She's our main POV, and she's a fish out of water.
She's like an everyday kind of person like
Yeah,
us. Like we relate for her
exactly.
in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, goes without saying, the best protagonists that the audience can relate to. So
Yes.
she is the audience, and she's a fish out of water, but she's an elevated version of most people. She's a badass, and she
Oh
does
yeah.
things in this movie that you wish you would do in uncomfortable situations. The way she stands up to people who
Everybody.
yeah, pretty much everybody, yeah, but especially Chef and Tyler.
Yeah.
She's a badass, and
She
you want
doesn't
to
take
root for
any shit
characters like
from
that. Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah, and I think it was a brilliant way to introduce these metaphors and talking points about the rich through the eyes of Margot. It wouldn't have worked. This movie wouldn't have
Yes,
worked
yes.
without Margot, without that um I guess baseline of a normal
Right,
person in this extreme situation
right.
was perfect. So,
She's like, "You're all
yeah.
ridiculous, like, you're paying over $1,200 to not eat this food that's not even food, and just to
Yeah, so
have
it's
this experience." Yeah.
super exclusive restaurant. It's on a private island. It's $1,200
Yes.
a head, but more importantly than that, it's super exclusive in that you need to be invited. It's not like you just pay
Right.
1,200 and you can go. Like, the chef needs to
You have to be,
personally.
like,
It
hand
seems
chosen.
like
Yeah.
they didn't say it specifically, but it seems like the chef like has to choose you, and you have to get approved to
Oh,
go to
and you're only
this.
clearly you can you're only can get in if you're one of these elite people. You're not gonna
Oh
be an
yeah.
everyday person like us and be able to do this, you know what I
Yeah, if
mean?
you like own a construction
We're
company and
not
you have,
worthy. Yeah, we're not
a
worthy.
million
Yeah.
dollars, that doesn't mean that you're yeah.
Right, right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this is. I mean, oh yeah. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the movie overall? How do you feel
I
about it?
again,
Yeah.
it's very layered, and I liked it so much better the second and third time around. I really enjoyed it
Okay.
the first time, but again, I was so hyper fixated on the mystery aspect of it and like what the fuck was going on that I didn't catch up on everything else that I did on the second and third time around. So was left a little confused the first time around. I was like, wait,
That
so
ending
how
is
did
so
that
good.
work and why did they do that? But then watching it again, I was like, "Oh, okay. That makes
There's so much
sense." Yeah.
smart dialogue in this movie. Like when you rewatch it, you get so
Mhm.
much more out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, going back to Margot, she's a great protagonist. Ralph Fiennes is awesome. The whole cast. You kind of briefly mentioned the cast, but we'll there's so many people
Yeah,
to
we'll go over the
like
characters
B-list
and like
actors
yeah.
that you like will recognize them but forget what they're from. We'll just as we go through the movie, we'll just point them out and what they're known for and stuff because it's just stacked. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
They all
overall, I
deliver.
liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. It probably would have made my top 10. not to
Oh, that's good to know. So we would
spoil
have had
anything.
another overlap. We would
Yeah,
have had
if
another
I
overlap.
if I watched it multiple times, if I would have rushed it and watched it the one time before our episode, it might not have. But um, yeah, this is a solid movie, guys. Definitely check it out. Definitely watch it. I feel like I say this with a few movies that we've covered so far, but watch it more than once because you're going to pick up on a lot of stuff that you won't the first time, at least. Or if you have the right mindset, I guess. Now that I'm kind of giving you guys a warning, like kind of focus on the characters more than the actual mystery,
Right.
if that makes sense, because that's where
It's more I
really,
because I think that's a good statement because I think it is all about the characters more than the mystery, like, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because you really
cool.
the whole movie, you're almost like, "Yeah, what the hell is this leading to?" And then at the end, you're like, "Okay, that happened."
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say this is one of the
But it
better, dark comedy, horror satires of recent memory, so if you guys are into that kinda mixture, this is definitely up your alley, check it out, and it's different, it's weird, it's just a weird movie that,
but
it's not
it's weird and it's out there, but it's not like wacky and zany like a lot of
no, it's
like,
not like
like The
something where you
Babysitter.
can't
The Babysitter's
understand.
great, but that's like a horror comedy
That's
that's not going to be for everyone. This is a smart horror comedy that,
yeah,
takes
it
itself seriously but is just really clever. Yeah.
right, it's a horror satire and it's commenting a lot of stuff. It's not a cheesy horror comedy. No, it's an actual
Yeah.
like a plot driven, actual you know, mystery horror dark. I would say it's dark comedy. I wouldn't even yeah, I wouldn't say it's a comedy. It's very dark. Like I laugh in the movie, but it's not because something hilarious has happened. I'm just have a sick twisted sense of humor over here, so
Yeah, it's more of a comedy in what it's saying. It's not like
right,
they're not
right.
cracking jokes,
And
It's not
how
like
they're saying it.
it's not like a
Yeah, it's
Marvel
not
movie.
like
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, thank God.
All right, well, let's just dive right in. Let's
All right, cool.
go to the movie and oh, before we start, real quick, we'll just announce the winner. Last week's winner for Child's Play of the Never Split Up moment was Anthony. He won by like a landslide, I think. So he'll get to go first for his Never Split Up moment for this movie. And yeah, thanks to everybody for voting. Please vote. We want to see the votes. And if you listen on Spotify, I've kind of touched on this, but maybe I'm not expanding upon it. So we actually have the poll on the Spotify app. So if you do have Spotify and you're listening on Spotify, all you have to do is just go to the episode page and scroll down. And the poll, I post the poll as soon as I post the episode, so it should be there for you. So please, we're not getting a lot of votes on Spotify. So if you do listen on Spotify, we would appreciate you voting in the poll. That really helps us kind of figure out who's voting where, and we want to engage with you guys and keep the comments and coming. And we like talking to you guys on Twitter. Twitter is one of our favorite places. I feel like it's so good for communities and stuff. It's really easy to navigate. And yeah, we any other comments on that? Just vote in the poll right
Oh
now.
yeah, just vote in the polls. Let us know what you think about the movie, so we can go back and forth on that a little bit because we both have different opinions. So we know that everyone does. So we want to
I'd say,
converse
especially
with you
last week.
guys. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was an episode. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
I'm
listen to that one,
surprised we didn't
guys.
get more
Yeah,
feedback from that because I thought I was gonna get hounded, but I don't know.
yeah, 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 yeah. I was waiting for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we'll do the never split up moment for this episode at the end, right before we get into our scores. But
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
why don't we get into it?
All right, awesome. So yeah, I like how this movie starts. We're not introduced to each character like in their everyday lives. I like how it gets right to it and they're arriving at the boat to go to the island. It wastes no time. So yeah, we're introduced to Tyler and Margot, and Tyler's played by Nicholas Holt, Margot's Anya Taylor Joy, and we get the sense that Tyler he's a super foodie obviously because he's yelling at her to put out her cigarette because it's going to ruin her palate or something, right? That's how the movie opens, and you're like, oh, he's this kind of guy. And then he tells her, yeah, this is like 12.50 ahead. She's like, oh, great. Are we eating a Rolex or like what are we doing over there?
Yeah, and you can tell that obviously Margot is not super into this. So mentioned before that Margot is kind of a fish out of water in this movie. Tyler is too, because he's not an elite. He's a super fan
Right.
of this. Like he says, he watches all the cooking shows and he's obsessed with Chef Slowick, and he um I don't even know how he afforded it. We didn't get into like what he does
I
for a
imagine
living. I
that
know
he's one of
he's
those he has, like,
I,
parents who are rich and he just, like, mooches off them. That's what I get the vibe from him. He's
yeah,
one
but
of
he definitely
those, yeah.
doesn't fit as well in terms of like everyone else that's dining there. So we
Right.
find out the reason why, but for now we're just left with that. So they're kind of both fishes out of water, and he's just like the goofy like guy that's super into the food and is like geeking out over it, where like
He's, like,
everybody
super,
else,
super geeky about it. Super
yeah,
geeky. I'm like, "What is he talking about?"
we don't really get introduced to the characters yet on the boat. We kind of get
Right.
some lines, but you can tell that they're not the same as Tyler. They don't really.
Well,
This is just
yeah,
another night out for
when
them,
they get on
you
the
know.
boat, like, you see some of the guests come and they're like Tyler's like, "Oh my god, that's the food critic, what's her," he's like, "Oh, she's a food critic," like,
Yeah,
he's like perks up.
Lillian.
Lillian,
Yeah,
who is she? And we gotta name shout her. She's Janet McTeer. She's also in Ozark. Yeah, she's great as the food critic. But he's like perks up, and then they see
yeah,
John Leguizamo. He's a movie star in this movie. He plays a movie star, George. So they're like, "Is that
yeah,
the guy from?" It's just so funny. Then we have these group of Wall Street guys. Your typical, Wall Street douchebags. And then we have an older couple, so that's our crew. And then the George, the movie star John Leguizamo, his assistants also with him. So
hmm,
they're definitely these elite kind of people who are snobby. We get the vibe right away.
yeah. And that's pretty much it. We have a brief scene on the boat, and it takes us right to the island, and that's
Yeah,
when we
and where
meet.
they're like given in like it's like a little appetizer, but it's like algae, and it looks like the most
Oh yeah,
disgusting thing ever. And she's like, "What the hell is this?" He like slurps it down. Tyler, I'm like, "This is already not for me. This kind of food."
yeah. I'm glad you pointed that out, because this is our first taste of
The
Margot's
type of
character
yeah,
kind of like not making fun of, but like sticking her nose up at this stuff, because he's describing this dish to her that they're having on the boat, and
all right.
he says some fancy word, and she's like, "You mean algae?" And he's like,
He's like, "Yep,
"Yeah, algae."
algae."
She's like, "Oh, great! Like I'm eating, bacteria. That's
I
wonderful."
immediately related to her because I hate when I go to like I've been to a couple fancy restaurants and they bring out this shit. I'm like, can you just give me basic food that like I want to eat? Like I don't want to look at this nonsense. It's almost like it's just for
Yeah.
show. You're not even supposed to eat it. So I immediately related to her. I'm like,
Hmm.
I'll take a steak or whatever any day over this,
Yeah,
whatever
and
this
I
concoction
believe she
is. Yeah.
says, "I prefer regular oysters. Like, fuck this
Yeah.
shit." And he like flips out. He's just like, "You're wrong. Like, no, it's not even an opinion. You're just wrong. The way it like, what do you say? The way it complements the palate." He has
Yeah,
a
yeah,
word that he
yeah.
uses, and she's like, "Never say that word again." Mouth feel, I think he
Yeah,
says.
something
He has a
like he
good
says,
mouth
but
feel. She's like, "Did you say mouth feel?" Yeah, that was a funny scene, and it also introduced us to Margot's character, kind of, because you knew she was a normal person, but she's a person that's gonna like speak whatever's on her mind. So
right.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And she does throughout the entire movie, which I love about her.
Oh yeah, she has a lot to say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's a
So we
badass.
get to the island pretty much right away. We get off the dock, and that's when we meet Elsa, one of your favorites.
Awesome in this movie. She is awesome. Her dry delivery had me laughing out loud like
I
several
know.
times in this movie. She's so good.
Yeah,
Hong Chow, she's great.
yeah,
But it's a good we bring this up because she's like pretty much the host when they get off the boat and she's taking all their names and then we find out that Tyler was supposed to Margot's not on the list. So if Tyler was supposed to bring someone else, Miss Westerfield or something. And she's like, "No,
yeah.
just Margot." So she's a little weird. Elsa's a little weird with her initially with that. So that's the first little off vibe we get.
Well, Elsa's just weird. She's very like
She
robotic
is.
in her delivery and dry, like you said.
But she has
So
some sass to her, man. She has some sass
yeah,
to
oh
her, that
yeah,
woman.
yeah. So she's not expecting to see Margot, and
Right,
she's like, "You're not on the list. This is unexpected, but please, you're welcome. Come on in."
right,
So at this point, I pretty much knew right away. They didn't spell it out, but you kind of know right away. Like he was supposed to bring another date, and he
right.
like replaced that date with Margot. You don't really know the circumstances yet, but
Yeah, I
because
almost
then
thought
he
that, like, he
apologizes to
broke up
her
with his
afterwards.
girlfriend. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like, he just got out of a
yeah,
long relationship, and this was, like, a new thing. That's what I first thought. Like, this
hmm,
was, like, a new fling.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Um,
Because they're very coupley. Like she's,
yes,
earlier
yeah,
she's like, putting resting her head on his shoulder and
right,
stuff, and you assume like they're boyfriend girlfriend, and
right, exactly. I thought the
yeah,
same thing. New
yeah,
thing. So then they do like the little tour on the area, right? Elsa takes them on the tour.
hmm yeah, and you have the elderly couple. They skip the tour,
Oh yeah,
so
okay, yeah. I forgot about
I,
that. They skipped the tour. Yeah,
I thought that was pretty
did they skip the
clever.
tour?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
asked to skip the tour, and
Oh
Elsa's like,
yes,
"Yeah,
yes, yes, yes,
you've seen this
yes.
tour
Because
a
they've been
lot."
there. We find out they've been there 11 times.
They're
They
regulars,
because they're
so they just
privileged. Yeah,
go
they're
right to
regulars.
the
Yeah,
restaurant. So I thought that was a pretty clever thing to do because it kind of like the audience, like what kind of movie you're getting yourself into for the most part.
right.
So like by this point, like I'm kind of on edge. Like you're kind of like, all right, like what's gonna happen? But the fact that Elsa and the staff allowed them, the regulars, to split from the group gave me like a false sense of security.
Security almost.
Does
Yeah,
that
yeah,
make sense? Because it's like, all right,
yeah.
nothing's gonna go down because they're letting the elderly
Right.
couple
They're not going to be trapped
go
in the
away.
rooms and then like cooked for the meal. That's when I was like, what
Yeah.
is going to happen when this tour?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love when she like explaining the meat. She's like, we age our meat for like 152 days, and we serve it on the. And then one of the like the Wall Street guys, I don't remember which one. They're like, what happens if you serve it on the 153rd day? She's like, well, then a bacteria will introduce itself into your bloodstream, and then you would expire. I
Yeah.
was like, she is killing me already.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
then
just
this
sent
is
her stuff that yeah, it's funny.
that was fun. Yeah, that was really funny.
I love how
The,
she's
the, the
like
way she
showing them the
delivered it. Yeah.
headquarters, and she's like explaining, she's like, "Yeah, we gel," and Margot's like, "We gel." She's like, "We gel." I'm like, "Oh shit." She's almost like she seems like she would be like a perfect like army candidate. She's very like
Mhm.
stern and restricted. It's funny.
So this was my first red flag when we saw the living quarters. There was
First
like
of all, the
20
toilet's
or
like right out in
30
the open.
beds.
It's like that's
Yeah, the
weird.
toilet is out in the open. She's like,
Yeah,
this is where the staff lives, except for Chef, of course.
right. He
And I'm
has
like,
his
what
own
the fuck? And then
cottage.
even the guy's like, wait, you all live in this room? She's like, yeah, we don't really have time for leisure. We
Right.
have like 16-hour days. He's like, don't you get burned out? She's like, we don't burn anything. What do you mean? He's like, no, burned out. Like, don't you get tired of this? She's like, no, we love it here. This is like our
Yeah.
dream. And the only thing that gets burned is if we do it intentional for flavor or something like that. I thought that was a
Oh,
funny line.
we'll get to that
Yeah.
again though later.
Yeah.
But it's so weird because it's like almost she gives the vibe it's like they're like they wouldn't want to do anything like they sleep and eat, for lack of a better term, this stuff. This is what they're robotic. It's like their life. They're servant. I almost when I was like, oh, are they like held there against their will? But I'm like, no, this is just like what's going on. But
Well,
they
that
just
was I
love it.
was I
Yeah.
was about to ask you what you were thinking in this moment. So this at this point, my first time through, obviously, I was thinking that they were possibly like hostages. Not so
Right.
much hostages, but like kind of brainwashed.
Yeah,
Like
that's what
because
I
it's
almost thought
like
like whipped them into shape, like made them his minions for.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay. Oh yeah. So we
but
were
yeah,
kind of on the same page with that.
living
Yeah.
quarters were very strange off the bat. I'm like, "What? There's a toilet just next to your bed like that?"
Yeah. Yeah. So then we leave that. We get they go towards the restaurant, and I think it's Tyler who mentions the house off in the distance.
Yes.
He's
She says that's
he's
chef's house.
That's Chef's house. You kind of get like this creepy shot of the house, like the
Yeah,
top
we
floor of
never
the house
yeah,
in the
yeah.
woods. But that was a pretty
He
cool
has to
shot.
go in it too. I think he has to go in, she's like, "No, none of us have even been there. Like, none of us have ever been in that house either. That's just
Yeah,
for chef."
nobody's allowed in the house. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, even the people. So
yeah.
right there, you kind of get your first like, oh, Chef has like an ego. Like this guy
Right.
thinks he's like, nobody's allowed in my house. Like what the fuck? It's fucking weird.
It's a good, a little, like, creepy, like, "Oh, what is going on in there?" I like that, setup.
Yeah. And then we get to the restaurant. I love this shot when they all enter, and then you see the big door
Kitchen.
swing
Yeah, yeah.
closed
Oh, yeah,
behind
yeah,
them.
yeah,
And I thought
yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
pretty cool metaphorical barrier. So
Yes.
first you had the boat leaving when they first got to the island. So that was the boat setting sail right away. And then you have the door closing in on them. So you kind of know, like, all right, they've crossed the barrier and now they're kind of trapped.
Yep.
I thought that was cool. Yeah. Little
Yeah, I would be
tricks like that,
questioning.
little
I would be questioning why
cinematography
the boat's
tricks.
leaving. I'm like, why is the boat leaving? Like, we're gonna have to go back. So I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
they're just,
true.
but
But
they
I know the
also, but
dinner is
they,
like
yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
that?
They don't think because they're selfish. They don't care. They have no care in the world. They just want to enjoy them. Yeah,
That's a good point because I think the reason we see the boat leaving is because I think it's Margot who turns and sees the boat leaving.
yep.
So she's the only one that really takes notice of
Because
it.
she's a person who has to worry in her day to day life how she's gonna get from A to B. These other people don't have to have a care in the world. People do it for them. So
Well,
I
yeah,
thought
and
that
we
was a
see that
little,
later on. The
yeah,
guy's like, "Oh, I'll call a
yep.
helicopter." Thought that was funny.
It's so fun.
But yeah, you're right. But I think the dinner is like over 4 hours long, so I guess it makes sense if the boat like the guy's not just gonna stay there for 4 hours.
A
So
lot of
if
gas
it's a
money with
short,
today's prices.
yeah, they don't really you don't really get a sense of how far out the island is either. So it could be a 5 minute boat
I think
ride. It
that's
could
on
be
purpose too,
20
because they don't
minute.
want to give us answers about like the remoteness of it. Like they don't want to go
Hmm.
too. I like that the movie also doesn't give us. They don't feed us too much info. They just give us exactly what we need just to get into it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I like when they walk in. I like the open concept. Like they're seated on one side in the kitchen with all the cooks on the other side. I like the setup of that, how it's laid
yeah.
out, and how we get the first visual aid of that. Very cool
Hmm.
stuff. And I think Elsa, this is when she said, "You can feel free to observe the cooks right now, but please do not take photos." And
Hmm.
that comes into play again. But you can see that Tyler's like he's in heaven. He's like a little kid at the candy store. He's obsessed
Yeah,
with everything going on in that room. He's like,
I
"Margo,
know.
come on, let's go look at this this
Yeah, and
prep
he
work."
he walks up to one of the assistants and he's like, "Oh,
Jeremy,
are you using this to do?" He's like, "Oh, that's very right. It's a very astute observation, Tyler." And he says his name, and Tyler's like, "You know me?" And Jeremy's like, "We know every one of our guests." And I was
I'm
like, "Oh
like,
shit!" Like, okay, it's a little creepy.
yeah, 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 Jeremy, that chef Jeremy. We'll get it. Yeah, we'll get to Jeremy.
Yep.
So yeah, so they pretty much just are giving them like little appetizer first, right? And Tyler's already like sneaking pictures when he was told not to. But then he's
Yeah.
explaining to Margot, right? He's like pretty much he's explaining to her like you know how people like idolize athletes and musicians? He's pretty much he's like they're idiots. He's like chefs, this is like such a pretentious line. I think he says like chefs they play with like the raw materials of life and death and it's all this pretentious bullshit. And Margot's like, "Okay, dude."
Well, yeah, he's very sincere in his delivery too. It's a very impassioned speech, and to Margot's credit, I even put this in my notes. She's trying. She's actually trying. She even said like, "Oh, I think I'm starting to get it." That was like a beautiful, eloquent way of putting it. She's not being
She's
sarcastic.
not dismissing him
I
yet
think
either.
she's
Yeah.
being genuine. Like actually being attentive to Tyler, and
I
she's
think
not
she's
into this
just
herself, but she's trying.
exactly. I
Yeah,
think she's like, okay, this is his thing. It's not mine. I'll just, take one for the team. I'm trying to experience what he experiences. She's trying to get in his headspace, but she's not
yeah.
really gelling.
And at this point, this is when we really get introduced to all the characters. I love this scene
Yeah, we should
because it pans to
each table.
each table and it kind of goes around and sweeps to each table and they're all having conversations about
Yeah,
who they are and what their lives are. I thought that was a great way to introduce all the characters
yeah. So we
as
should
they're
probably
getting
just
ready to eat.
run through them quick just before because there are a lot of the plots have to do with each table. So we have Lillian Bloom. She's the food critic, and then her editor Ted. They're at one table. We have the wealthy regulars, like you said, that's the older couple. I think Richard and Anne are their names.
Mhm.
We have the washed up movie star George and his assistant Felicity, and then we have the business partners, the Wall Street guys, the Soren, Dave, and Bryce. And then we also have an older woman. She's just like seated at a table, but she was never on the boat. We just see her sitting at a table in the corner. So that's our crew that we're dealing with. And then we have obviously Tyler and Margot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's very like Clue, like mystery dinner vibes, how they introduce the characters, and then they have like you said, it's an open concept, and everyone's at their own
Yeah,
table, and you kind of get like, all right, like you just said, this is our crew, this is who we're
yeah.
dealing with, and we haven't seen
Who?
Chef yet. He's about to enter, but
Nope.
yeah,
You see him
I
like
thought
he's
that
like
was pretty
slowly
cool.
like checking on some of the food, and then he makes his big entrance with. I love his claps are otherworldly.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think it's because we're getting ready for the first course, right? Yeah, this is when he introduces himself right before the first course.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Yeah, so let's get into that. The first course, he does his clap. So every time he introduces a course, he does a clap, which that's a pretentious in itself. But he like pretty much introduces himself. He's like, "I'm Chef Slowick," and he explains the plan for the night. And then before they bring out the first course, he goes, "Do not. I just ask you one thing. Do not eat, taste, savor, relish, but do not eat. Our menu is too precious for that." I'm like, "Oh god, I would never last 5 minutes in this place. I would already be outside."
Mhm. Oh yeah.
I'm
And
like,
this is again such good dialogue on
yes. He
this
goes
stuff
more in
because
detail, but
he
it's so good.
is so meticulous and he wants people to have, I think what he says is an experience.
Oh,
But then
yes,
you look
yes.
around at our crew, and other
They're
than
not
the
even
food
giving him any
critics
attention.
who
Yeah.
are the most pretentious in the whole movie, the rest of them just want to like, all right, let me eat.
They
No,
wanna
like
eat
shut up.
food. They
Like I
wanna
want to eat
actually
food.
eat.
Like
Well,
yeah.
and Tyler's enamored with everything he's
Well,
saying. He's like,
yeah, but most of the
yeah,
other elites are kind
yeah.
of like not even, they don't even care what this guy's saying. They're
They're
not,
just there
you
because
know.
they could afford it, the other people, and they just wanna have a dinner.
Yeah.
They wanna say that they spent almost 1,500 bucks on a night for dinner. That's all they're there for. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but
this
the
guy's a
fir
famous chef too, so they want to have a good meal. I think he's
well,
known for his bread, I think they say.
oh,
So,
that's hilarious when we get to that part. But the
yeah.
first course, it's like it's called the island, but it's literally like a rock. It's a rock with a
Mhm.
couple like things on it. I'm like, what the hell is
Yeah,
this
it's
shit?
with seawater, salt water, and it's like
Yes.
melting into the food. It's like
And
frozen
he says that
seawater.
it's all from like the island, like everything, all these ingredients are from the island. And I love, we should point out every time they introduce a course, they put the dish and all the ingredients come up on the screen, which is
Mhm.
hilarious because we'll get to that. But it's very clever how they do that. But I think Tyler, he even starts like tearing up when like after Chef like introduces the first course and he's taking pictures again. But Margot's like, "Are you crying?" He's like, "It's just so beautiful and moving."
Yeah,
What?
I know.
Oh god. Yeah, so that's funny, but I think I think he like says something and then Chef was like, "What did you say?" And then like Tyler gets all freaked out. I think he asks Margaret, like, "You don't think the chef was mad at me for that, right?" She's like, "You don't have to call him chef, you're the customer. He's here to serve you food." But he's like all into the whole plan, the whole menu of it all. Very funny.
I don't think too much happens with this first dish. The
No,
only thing I could remember is he's taking pictures, and you notice that
that's
Elsa
it.
notices
Oh, she
him.
keeps glancing over, giving
Yeah,
the her shade.
when
She gives
after,
hardcore shade.
yeah, she specifically said no photos. Chef doesn't want
Yes.
any photos, and he's not very discreetly. Like he's just whipping out his
He's
phone and
like,
taking
"Shh,
photos.
shh,
Yeah,
shh."
yeah.
But the second chorus,
Which
that's a
is
good
kind
one.
of funny
Yeah.
because
You
knowing what
think he
we
would try to
know,
obey, though. You think he would try to obey him,
that,
like,
but like, why does he need the photos? Do you know what I mean? Knowing what we know, like, it's not like he's gonna look back
because I
on
don't think he
a
can help it. I don't think he can
yeah,
help it.
I know.
He's just, like,
Yeah,
so, like, amazed by everything happening. He wants to record everything.
I
Um,
guess, but for who?
that's how messed up these people are, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
the
so
second course
that's
is hilarious.
the second course is when we get into it. Yeah, that's when it starts
Yes,
to
and that's
really
we
get
so we always get a
intense.
clap. We get another clap, and then I laughed the first time I saw this when he's describing the second course. He's like, "Bread is food for the common man, and you aren't common, so you're not getting bread tonight." And it's called a breadless bread plate. It's the chorus.
Yeah.
And Tyler's like, "Oh, he's not just a chef; he's a storyteller." And Margot is pretty much giving like, "This is like pretentious bullshit right now."
Mhm.
And then she goes, "There's some rules you should give a fuck about, like serving food at a restaurant." And one of the Wall Street guys, I forget which one it is, Soren, I think, he calls Elsa over, and this is probably my favorite like line of dialogue from her the entire movie. But he's like, "Listen, I get the whole story, I get what he's trying to do, but can we please get some bread?" He goes, "We need some gluten free too." Like he's already an asshole, like requesting gluten free bread. But and then Elsa just goes, "No," and then he's like, "You know who we are, right?" She's like, "Yes." He's like, "Give us bread." She's like, "No." He's like, "We work with Mr. Varick or whatever." She goes, "You don't work with him, you work for him." I'm like, "Oh shit." And then this is my favorite line. She like whispers in his ear. She goes, "You will eat less than you desire and more than you deserve."
Yeah. I was like, "Oh,
And he
shit."
gets so freaked out. He's like stone cold his face. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn,
Yeah.
she just wrecked him.
Yeah.
I love that line. It's my favorite line in the movie, I think.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But I think this is when we get the scene of like Margot's not eating, and Tyler he goes to take her plate, but he breaks one of her glasses, and then they all rush over, and Chef comes over, and he's like, "Oh, Margot, you haven't touched your food," and then she's like, "This isn't food,"
Mhm.
so she's already giving it back,
Well, this is
and
what
then
I was saying
yeah,
before. She is the audience as in she's a fish out of water like we are because we're normal people, but
right,
she is I put this in my notes, she's not intimidated at
no,
all. So
and he's
and
an
she
intimidating person. This chef, he's
yeah, this is a
intimidating. I was
very
intimidated by him.
intimidating atmosphere, right? Like not only are you
Yes,
surrounded by celebrities and important people, the chef is just like super like standoffish and intimidating, but she doesn't back down to chef at all. She's
no.
like, yeah, like this is ridiculous. Like I don't remember what she says,
I
but
think
I
she
all I
even
have
says
in
to him. I think she says like, "I'm perfectly capable of deciding when and what I eat." Like she says
yeah,
that to him as
because he
well. Yeah,
asks her why she's not eating. Yeah, and she's
right.
like, don't want to eat this. Like,
She's like, "This
there's
isn't
nothing
food."
here. She's like, what do you mean? You
Yeah,
didn't give me anything. She's like, he's like, well, you need to eat. She's like, I don't want to. She says some sarcastic line like, I don't want to get too full. And then
right.
chef is like, that's impossible. I designed this
He
meal
like
so you don't
perfectly
get
designed
full.
it so for your
Yeah.
metabolism.
And
I'm
she's
like,
like,
what the?
I'm a grown up. I can decide when I
Yeah,
eat. And I just love that because Margot it doesn't take shit from anyone.
no.
And she even to someone like chef like we wish we can be like Margot in
Oh yeah.
uncomfortable situations, but she embodies what we wish we
She
can be
says
in
it
some
how it is. She
sense.
says what we're all saying in our head, but we won't
Hmm.
say out loud when we're in that kind of
Exactly.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like we would like I would say that stuff after he walked away like, oh, what
exactly.
the fuck but like I probably wouldn't say that in the moment. Like Margot's a badass.
I was like,
Yeah.
damn, she really giving it back. And she's
Yeah.
like you said, she's in her like I mean, I don't want to say she's but we're shown that she's the lesser person because she's not one of these you know, snobby people in the room. She's a normal person.
Hmm.
But then we see Slowick, I think he goes to tend to an older woman sitting in the corner. Now we get the third course, and this is a big course. The third course is
Well,
a big
before the
course.
third course, doesn't Tyler like ask Margot what the fuck was that? Doesn't he get super
Oh,
pissed at her? That
I
was that
think he
conversation, right?
I think that happens. Does that happen now or a little bit? But he pretty much when he does say that to her, he's like he calls her a child. She pretty much tells her to shut the fuck up and eat. And she's like, "Yo, you can't talk to me like that."
Yeah, because he tells her like you can't talk to chef like that, and she's like,
Right.
"Why the fuck do you care? Like,
Yeah.
you're the customer, you're the paying customer. Like,
Right.
if we're not happy, like he's supposed to serve us." And he's like, she's like, "Do you want him to like you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, just kind of like, this is our first real like glimpse of Margot, kind of like looking at Tyler like this, like she thought he was weird before, but now she's like kind of looking at him
Well,
with
and this is our
disdain.
first glimpse of Tyler's actual like
Yeah, and then
character. How he
Tyler
talks
throws
to
a
her like
temper
that.
tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just like, yeah, I forget what she says, but she's like, he's like, you should shut the fuck up because I'm paying for this meal, you fucking
Yeah, he
child. I can
said he
call you.
said, "I'm paying
Yeah,
for it,
he's
so
like,
just sit there and eat."
yeah, he's like, I can call you whatever you want. You're a child and I'm paying. And I was like, holy fuck, this guy's fucking asshole.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
And that's when
So
she goes to the
she goes to the
bathroom, right?
bathroom, right? Okay, yeah. That's what that I think it was either before or after that. I can't remember what order, but yeah,
Yeah,
then he approaches
you
her in
might
the
be right.
bathroom.
He might have went over to the older lady first. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's alright, but whatever, it happens in the movie. But he pretty
Yeah.
much he like encloses her in the bathroom, which is so creepy,
Mm.
chef. And he pretty much asks her again, like, what's your deal?
Mm.
And she get didn't she stand up for herself again in the bathroom?
Yeah, she does. I actually thought this was a nice face-off between the two of them in like an enclosed space, just the two of them with no audience.
Yeah.
It was like kind
He
of
pretty
like
much like tells her you
two
shouldn't be here.
titans clashing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she actually
He
says, "Please
asks,
get the fuck out of my way," like on her
well, he
way out,
keeps
but she
asking her,
actually
"Who
says
are
that.
you?"
Yeah,
And he keeps
yeah,
saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" She's like, "I'm Margot." He's like, "No, but who are you? Like,
right,
what are you doing here?" And she like
right,
kind of, she's like, "I'm from Nebraska or something. Like, get the fuck out of my
right.
way."
She says, Please get the fuck out of my way."
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we do get the third course, which is the Taco Tuesday course.
Yeah.
So, chef, we find out that old woman is his mother, and he introduces her, and then he tells a story, and he goes like, "When I was 7 on a Tuesday taco night, my dad came home drunk," and he's telling this to everybody, and he wrapped a telephone cord around my mom's neck and started strangling her. He goes, so I had to stab him in the thigh with kitchen scissors. And he goes, I should have stabbed him in the throat. But then he's like, that was a very memorable taco night. And then we see that they're getting ready to serve chicken thighs with scissors in them
Yeah.
with tortillas. And he goes, these tortillas have images ingrained on them. So we get them deliver the food, and each tortilla pertains to each person. So we get the
Mm,
old couple has like pictures of them, but then we see a picture of like women, of a couple of women on the tortillas. Um, the food critic, doesn't she have like her reviews about that restaurants that ended up closing because of her reviews? Uh,
yeah.
then we have Tyler is the pictures of him taking photos on the tortillas, which is hilarious. And then the George, the movie star, he has one of his movies, Calling Doctor Sunshine, which is apparently like a panned movie that everyone
Mm,
hated.
yeah.
And then the Wall Street guys is the best. They have the wire transfers. So we find out they're falsifying tax records and other documents and like creating fake invoices. So they have a scam of business going on. But
For the
they call
company, for
over,
the guy that that owns the
yeah.
restaurant too.
So
So
they call over Elsa and they're like, "What the hell is this?" She's like, "These are tortillas." It's so
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And they ask her like 3 times. They say, "Well, these are tax records falsifying income," and they're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they
Margot, she
freak
gets
out there.
pissed. Yeah, she
Yeah.
gets pissed. And she tries to send the food back. I think this is when, because he snaps at her for trying to send the food back. I think that's when that
Mm.
happened. But so that's when that whole scenario happens. But yeah, the Wall Street guys are not happy, and so that's when Margot goes to the bathroom. That all happens. But so that course is getting a little more spicy, and then the next course is like, shit, you can't go back from here. The next course. First of all, I'm like, how many courses is a dinner?
We forgot
Like,
to
holy
mention
shit.
that all the courses, I think Tyler says it to Margot, but all the courses are supposed to come together at the end of the night and have like an overall theme. So you're
Yes,
supposed to like kind of guess the theme
because it's a
in a
show.
way.
This isn't just a
It's a
meal. It's a
yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, so all of these courses somehow fit, and at the end all will be revealed, I guess. So that's kind of in the back of your mind the whole time, yeah.
Yeah. So the third course is the first where we get the hint on. Wow, these people are like they're intense. Like they're going for it. Like they're calling us out right now. Just with the
Mm.
tortillas. And I mean the story about the thigh and then you get the scissors in the thighs. He's like, hope you all have a memory from your childhood that you can relate to this dinner. I'm like, what the hell? But the fourth course is insane. Insanity. So we see then they put like a plastic sheet on the floor, almost like a Dexter like situation, like they're prepping the room for something. So then the one of the Wall Street guys is like, "What the hell is going on?" And then Chef introduces sous chef Jeremy, and he's the one from the beginning with Tyler. And he goes, "Jeremy created the next dish, which is called the mess." And then he pretty much is just introducing Jeremy. He's like, Jeremy had a goal to work for me, and Jeremy's a good chef. He might be a very good chef, but he's not a great cook. I'm like, who? And he's like, he'll never be great. I'm like, damn. And you see, like Jeremy, he's like has like tears in his eyes, and then he's just like yesing him. He's like, yes, chef, yes, chef. And then I think he tells him, he's like, there's no way to avoid the mess of your life, and pleasing people will never get you to where you want to be. And he goes, do you like? And he asks him if he likes this life, and he's like, no, chef. And then he like kisses Jeremy on the cheek, and then he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is the mess." And Jeremy takes out a gun, puts it in his mouth, and he shoots himself.
Yeah.
Blood everywhere. Yeah, insane,
So
insane.
the third time I watched this, I picked up on this right before this happens. Yeah, that's just before I say anything. That was crazy. So he blows his
Love that
face
moment.
off, and
Love it.
people
Yeah,
freak out. And yeah,
but
I think it's Lillian and her assistant. They're like, guys, it's just theater. It's theater. It's fake.
she's
It's
like state
fake.
of the
This
art.
isn't
It's
real.
theater. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the?
And the actor is like, "What is this? What is going on? Like, is this real? I don't think this is
But
real.
I
This
love
can't be
how.
real."
What
Yeah.
also cracked me up. Tyler's an asshole, but he's like, "Oh, I didn't see that coming."
Yeah.
I die every time he
But
says that.
did you pick up on this? So right before he kisses Tyler or whatever, he asks Tyler, I'm sorry, not Tyler, the chef, would you say his name was? Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy.
The chef asks Jeremy, he says, do you want to live your life? And he says, no, chef. And then he says, do you want my life?
He
And then
said,
he
"No, chef."
says, well, he says, yeah, he says, no, not what I have and not who I
Right,
am. Do you
right.
want my life? And he
He says,
emphasizes
"No."
my life. Did you pick up
Yes,
on that the third time around?
yes,
Like, so
yes.
he gave him an option,
Right,
I feel like, in that moment. Like he could have killed Chef. Did
right.
you take it like that?
Uh, I
Because
didn't
I
take it
look at
as in
Chef
like
very differently now that I've seen this a few times. He's not this like he's very like humble in a way. Yeah. Well, because you see that with
well,
the
he's
with
making a
Catherine with Man's Folly. He's very he's realized the mistakes he's made, and I think that's why this night is happening.
I think
But
he's realized that
I
he's
think
turned
he was
into what he
offering
hates. That's what I think
well,
the whole
yeah.
theme of
But
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he was in a way offering Jeremy the choice. I don't know if you saw it the same way as I did, but
I think he was saying like, "Do you want to be stuck in this life?" But then when Jeremy said no, I think Jeremy was choosing to die instead of being stuck in that routine.
mhm.
That's what I got. I didn't take it as in like giving him the option to like kill Chef and take,
Okay.
do anything like that.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I thought it was interesting that he emphasized like, "Do you want my life?"
Yeah.
So
I do
I
like how
didn't know if
he questioned him before because you're like, "Where is this going?" And it
mhm,
just it goes there.
yeah,
But yeah, I love how
fucking
yeah, the
bonkers.
critics it's crazy. And that's the first like oh shit, oh shit, oh shit moment. I remember in the theater everyone was like, "What movie are we watching?" Because it's like all like it was like a
Yeah.
few older
It's
couples
I
that were
mean,
like,
I've seen
"What?"
enough movies. As soon as like you said, Dexter, as soon as I saw the plastic on the ground,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like, here we go.
I
Yeah.
knew, but
Yeah.
I love how Lillian, she's like, "Yeah, this is just theater. This is just." I'm like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck?"
It's like it's
There's a
so
dead guy right
lifelike.
there.
Yeah.
But I love how after that we get like the mess comes up on the title because they serve the food, the course, and it's
Mhm.
ingredients, and the bottom it pops up R.I.P. Jeremy.
Yeah.
It's so like
Yeah, so
demented
the
but
actual
funny.
plate, they now serve a plate and it's like I forget what's in it, but it's actual bone marrow and it looks like a
Yes,
human skeleton, like part of
yes.
a human bone marrow. And I was like, "Oh shit.
And
I
Tyler
didn't
digs
realize."
right in. Tyler digs right into that shit.
Well, yeah, he digs right in and then Chef, I don't know if he claps again, but he raises his voice. I think he's like, "Eat." And
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah. He
everyone's
said,
like
"Eat,
starts like
eat," and they
eating.
just like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, we're gonna get killed if we don't eat."
Yeah. And this
But
is
this is
when
when the
the
old guy tries to leave, right?
yeah.
What's his name again? I always forget their names. I know it's hard to
His
remember.
name is
Richard.
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 Richard,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is also like a one-two punch of a wild scene.
Mhm.
So he tries to leave, and then Elsa comes up to him and she's like, "For which hand do you use primarily, or whatever? Which arm do you use?" And he doesn't answer. And then she's like, "Okay, whatever arm, ring finger." And they like hold his hand down on the table, and then he gets his finger chopped off. I'm
Yeah.
like,
And then
so
people
then
freak out again.
they know because they're like, this is actually real because this guy's like, he's a patron, he's a guest, he's not part of the show. So we
Well,
think, but she's still
well,
Lillian
you
still's like, oh no,
oh,
this isn't real.
yeah, Lillian thinks that she's like, "Oh, I get it now. We were invited here. This is all for
Yeah,
us. Everyone's
yeah.
actors except for
She
us."
even puts her
So,
glasses on to like pay attention.
yeah. And I think she turns to like the Wall Street guys or someone, and they're just like, she's like, "Wow, fantastic acting, guys!" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
Yeah,
it's
she's
so
underrated.
fucking
She has
funny.
some good like
Yeah,
comedic timing in this movie.
yeah,
So yeah, so Richard loses his finger, and then they hand the ring back to the wife, which is also funny because we find out stuff later.
yeah. And is this where Chef confronts them and asks about to name a dish because they're asking like, "Why did you do this to me?"
Yeah, I think this is he does he this is when he like comments on them being like there 11 times. Like he's like saying you guys have been here,
Yeah,
you know, most people are lucky to even get here once, and you guys have been here 11 times, and they can't name a dish or anything. They can't name.
yeah.
They obviously
Well,
haven't
he says
appreciated.
this is actually
Yeah.
my favorite line in the movie. He says, "Name one dish last time you came," and Richard's like, "I don't know." And his wife whispers, "Cod," and he says, "Cod," and Chef goes, "It wasn't cod, you donkey. It was halibut."
Oh yeah,
It's like
he calls her a donkey. I'm
he
like,
calls him a
oh.
donkey. Yeah. Yeah, that was
Um.
hilarious.
So then I think doesn't Chef ask to see Margot again right after
Hmm.
this, and
Yeah, in the kitchen,
he's
he
like,
wants to see her in the
oh yeah,
kitchen,
so
and
she
Tyler's all
can.
upset. He's like, "What? Do they want to
He's
see
like, "Can
me
I
too?"
come? Can I
Yeah,
come?" They're like, "Nope."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he pretty much he keeps saying like, "You're not Margot. You're not Margot," and then pretty much asks, he's like, "Do you wanna" he's like, "We're all going to die tonight." Because she's like, "Will you let me live?" He's like, "Nope, you're gonna die. We're all going to die tonight." And then he goes, but he does ask, he's like, "Do you wanna die with those who give or those who take?" So we really get we get the hint of, like, this is the theme, like,
Hmm.
these rich people are the takers, and, like, these are the servants,
Yeah.
the givers, the service, and they're commentary on the service industry as well.
Yeah.
Um, so he said, "You have whatever 10 minutes or whatever to make up your mind." And then, I think they have, like, a palate cleanser dish after that. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
But then one of the Wall Street guys, he tries to break the window with the chair, right? That's what happens. And, Elsa's like, "That's not gonna work. Let me get you back to your seat."
Yeah.
She's so funny.
Yeah. She's so calm and yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
then
so
I
funny.
think he calls out the rest of the guests, chef, for pretty much, like, their ungratefulness. He, like, pretty much just, says, "You're all ungrateful, snobby assholes." And then, we get the scene of he had to relinquish ownership to the restaurant because of COVID to an investor. And then we get the scene of the investor who's like, they get a shot in the water and the investor is like drowning in his angel wings. He has angel wings on him and then he drowns him. So that's another like, what the hell is going on right here?
Hmm.
So yeah, so he's drowned. And then I think this is right before we get the fifth course when they head out. He's like, let's head outside for some fresh air. And we go. And that female chef, I can't remember her name, he brings her up.
Catherine.
Catherine. Catherine, yeah, so then we get introduced to Catherine, and what does he say? He pretty much says that, like, "I tried to make sexual advances on Catherine," and then he allows her to she stabs him in the leg.
She actually does the speech this time. He gives the
Okay.
floor
Oh,
to
yeah, yeah,
her
so
and
yeah, 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 so she
she
explains, yeah.
says, yeah, chef tried to have sex with me multiple times and
Right,
I said no. And then chef didn't fire me, but he refused to acknowledge me or even look at me for months. And
right.
then she's like, "Yeah, he can do that." I was like, "Yeah, that
So that's another
sounds like the type
commentary
of
on,
guy
like,
that
how
would
the
do that."
workplace environment could be if you sexually harass someone and then they
Yeah,
deny you, then you pretty much dismiss them.
yeah, because this next course is called "Man's Folly," I think. So she stabs him in the leg, I guess, as punishment to because he realizes what he did was wrong, and he even apologizes. He turns to everybody and
It's
says, "Now,
crazy.
Catherine, I'm sorry that I did that to you, and this is man's folly." So he gives all the men, all the customers, a 45. He explains that he's gonna give the men a 45-second head start to escape,
Yeah, hide and
and then
seek
before he
almost.
even finishes his
Oh, one of the
sentence,
guys, yeah.
one of the guys, I what's his name? The
Was it
one of
Soren who
the
ran? I can't
bros.
remember who ran first, but,
I think it. Yeah, it was. It was Soren. Soren just starts taking off, and Chef's
I
like,
would too.
"Okay." Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like,
he's
"Okay,
like,
your
"Okay, you
time
guys
starts
can now
now."
get your head start." And then
Yeah,
Tyler doesn't wanna go, but he's like, "I have to
Tyler doesn't leave.
participate too?" Yeah,
Yeah,
so then he, like, slowly
because he
walks
doesn't
away. I'm
want
like,
to
"Oh."
escape.
I know,
So we
it's
never commented on that. All that shit went down, and Tyler was like eating his food nonchalantly and
oh,
like
yeah.
enjoying his food.
It's
So
almost like he
he's for
wasn't as
some reason
surprised for the
he's yeah,
shenanigans going on.
he's
Yeah.
not phased by anything, and you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck is going on with Tyler? Why is he? They do it in a comedic way. So it was kind of like, all right, file that in the back
Right,
of my
right.
brain, but you're kind of like this point, what the fuck is up with Tyler? Because at this point, yeah, I'd be wanting to like get the fuck out of here. So
And he's weird, but he's not like that's like insanity the way he's like acting when all the shit's he's
mhm.
not reacting to like this life or death scenario. He's just like, "Oh, what's the next course?"
Yeah.
Um,
So once all the men leave, the Catherine
the woman,
takes
yeah,
the
I love
chef.
this scene.
Yeah, lets Catherine take all the women inside
Back
for their
inside,
next
yeah.
course. Yeah, so they
I
get to
love how when
enjoy.
they're running away, they're having a discussion and like Lillian, she's trying to like pump up this Catherine. She's like, "Listen, whatever you need, like I can help you open your own restaurant." She's like, "It's like just please like let us go." She's like, "Actually," Catherine's like, "Actually, it was my idea for everyone to die tonight." Lillian, she's like, "Fuck it, anyone want a drink?"
Yeah, they start drinking wine. Yeah,
I love that part because I'm
and
like,
this is
I
when
would do the same thing. Yeah.
Margot opens up that her name's not actually Margot.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Well, I think
forget what her
Richard's
name
wife,
is.
she's like, Anne, she's like, "Do you know my husband?" And then she's like, "Yes." So, because the whole night they were given like weird exchanges, looks to each other, Richard and
Yeah,
Margot. So she's like, "You know my husband?" And then she's like, "Yes, I do." we eventually find out what's going on with Margot at a certain point. But
Yeah, and they comment that Margot looks like their deceased daughter, I think.
yes, which is so.
So
We
so
find out when
crazy.
she talks
Yeah.
to Chef like what he. Oh, that was
Yeah.
disgusting. But
Yeah. But then we cut back to all the guys, which is hilarious,
it's
getting
so
chased
funny.
down by the staff. Do you want to comment on this at all? Like
I
because we're
almost
we're never split up podcast, so I feel like this is like one of the
Yeah, so
dumb
I
moments
almost
where you
wish
can kind of
it went longer though because you just see
yeah,
them all panicking and it's like
me
I
too.
wanted a little more not because it's not that kind of movie would have like suspense like that because really this part's pretty humorous. But I
Yeah.
thought the it could have like played out a little bit longer. And I thought they maybe should have
Yeah,
killed one of them
because
in that scene.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they didn't show you a whole lot because they had 45 seconds, which is a pretty good head start, and it's not a big island. So, and the one guy gets the rowboat or whatever, but they didn't. Yeah, I agree. They should have showed more of the chase scene, like kind of how the staff caught up to him so quickly. It
Yeah,
seemed
that's
like
my
it was
one if
pretty
I have a
quick.
nitpick of the movie, it's my little
Yeah,
nitpick even though it's not that
because it
kind of movie. It's not
because
really
this
a
could have
horror movie
well
like that.
selfishly for this podcast, this could have been a moment where we really critique their different strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of it when the two bros are like running. And he's like, "Dude, stop running next to me." But I'm
So get
thinking, like,
away, man.
why wouldn't you
So
want to stay together though? Because
well,
like
don't spoil my
you're
never
on
split
an
up moment.
island. Yeah. Well, I have to comment on that because that was really the only thing
Yeah.
that they really gave us. And then you see the guy going out in the boat, and then all of a sudden it just cuts, and he's like being escorted back to the
Yeah, I love
restaurant,
how
but
the
you don't really
last guy
know
who's found is the editor, and he's like
the
in like
editor.
the
Yeah, he's in the
chicken barn
chicken
or
coop.
yeah, chicken coop, and they're like, "Sir, a snack for the winner." And they give him a little like some food. He's like accepts defeat so easily, and he's like
Yeah,
waddles back to the restaurant. Yeah, I
I,
like
I
that
would
scene, but
have.
I think it could have went longer.
I think it could have went longer too. You're meant to believe that they were caught pretty easily. Like it didn't
Yeah,
take very
well, but I
long.
also
Yeah,
like that commentary because, like I said again, these people have never had to work or do anything for themselves, so we see how incapable they are of something so easy as band together, like try to fight this up. But they don't want to do anything. They don't
they're
want anything.
selfish.
Exactly.
When it's
They're
fight or flight mode,
selfish,
they don't want to work together. They're just like, oh, as
right?
long as I can get further away from the other guy, maybe I'll
And they
live.
don't have
They're
a fight
totally.
mode because they never had to fight for anything in their entire lives. So
Mhm.
I do like that commentary
Even the
on it.
old guy,
Yeah.
he starts like running, and he goes to his wife. He's like, sorry, I'll find help. Like, and just leaves his wife like of
Yeah.
like 50
He's
years or
like, "I'll be
whatever. I was
back,
like, wow.
woman."
Yeah.
He's
So yeah,
he's
super
one of the
selfish.
most despicable people in the entire movie when we find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then obviously they're all brought back right to the restaurant, and then this
Hmm.
is when Stoic explains that you know you were each brought here because you all are why I lost my passion for my craft. You're they make you guys make a living off exploitation, the work like exploiting the work of hard workers, and makes me disgusted. So we know that. So we know. I mean, it's further ingrained into our brains that these people are just ungrateful bastards.
Hmm.
And then he announces that everyone will be dead by the end of the night, which is a big.
Yeah.
So and since Margot her presence was unplanned, this is why he's giving her the choice of what table she wants to sit at, for lack of a better term. And so then this is when they go to speak in his office or whatever, right? And she's
Yeah. He
revealed to
tells her
be
you have like 15 minutes, and then when the timer
yes.
goes off, you're gonna meet me in my office, and you're gonna decide if you're a giver or a taker. And I like this scene a lot.
So this is when we find out that he's like, you're an escort. So Margot's an escort. She's not Tyler's
Hmm.
girlfriend. And she served Richard. So this is why her and Richard know each other. And it's so disgusting. Didn't he like make her pretend to have the same name as his daughter and like look like it was weird what he like requested her to do? Very creepy
Yeah.
shit.
She said that he made her give him a hand job, and then she
Like called
pretended to be
her
his daughter
yeah. Oh my
while he
oh
like closed his eyes and cried or something like that. Yeah.
like what the
Super weird.
disgusting.
Yeah. But I
Oh
like this scene because Slowick Chef Slowick meets Margot on her level, and he kind of like relates to her in a way because he's the one who points. She doesn't give up anything. He actually says like, I know who you are. I can tell a fellow service industry worker when I see
because
one.
she's a giver, not a taker.
Yeah. So he kind of, and I put this in my notes. He meets her on the same level, and like you kind of see him relating to her in a way. He's not like this big baddie in this scene. He's kind of talking to her like one on one, like you know,
No,
trying to
because he
like
sees himself in her because he started out he didn't have the privilege of getting a hand me down. He had to work to get to where
yeah.
he is, but now he almost hates what he's
Yeah, and
become
then he
because of
says
these
like you're
people. Yeah,
really not supposed to be here tonight. I think
right.
that was his way of like
It's
apologizing to her
right. Because he
because like
doesn't
she
wanna
has to
kill her,
die.
but she's there.
Yeah.
That's why he said you have to die still, but so
Yeah.
he planned for it to be, Tyler's snobby girlfriend, before they broke up. That's what
Mm.
because you have to bring a guest. You can't come alone. That's another rule of this place. You can't show up alone. Yeah, I like that scene too because it's almost like I don't relate to him, but it's the most normal conversation I've seen him have the entire movie. Like not
Yes.
down to earth because he's not a down to earth character, obviously, but
Mhm.
the most human I've seen him the entire movie, I should say. So this is
Yeah.
when we find out that they go back and we do find out that Tyler was invited months in advance to the dinner and he knew the plan for everyone to die, but he still came. So he's really a fucking psycho. Tyler is the psycho of the group. Um, and he came because he was so like he still wanted to be part of this chef's because he's obsessed. So his desires got the best of him, and he wanted to participate in Slowick's craft and plan for the night. So
Well, yeah,
he
it's
kept this secret from
literally
Margot. That's
a
fucked
once in a
up.
lifetime
Yeah.
opportunity.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the end of a
Yeah,
lifetime
so
opportunity.
it was worth it to him
But
cuz he would have
Margot
never
obviously
gotten this.
freaks out and she like lunges at him because he brought this innocent random woman to die with no care in the world. So
Yeah.
he's another dick. Um so then this is when we get the Tyler humiliation scene, correct? When he
Yeah. He makes him cook. Yeah. And he
right.
like he pumps him up and like he's being like sarcastic, but he's
He's
like,
like, "What do you need? What do you
"Oh,
need?
we
What do you
we
need?"
noticed that you because throughout the courses he was like commenting on the dishes and he was asking chef like, "Oh, am I tasting this?" And chef was like, "Very good, yes." He's like, "Oh, Tyler, you're excellent, like you must be a great chef at home." And Tyler's like, not really. He's like, "No, no, like you need to come in the kitchen and cook us something." So yeah, he tells him, "We whatever you want to cook, we have everything in this kitchen." So he decides to cook some veggies with some lamb on a
Yeah,
skillet.
lamb chops or
And
whatever.
and this scene is like put your shoes in Tyler. It's like so anxiety inducing because he has the whole kitchen like gather around. He has all the guests stand up. He's like, "Stand up, let's all watch." If I had that
Because
many
he's
people
evil. He
watching
is
me
evil
cook,
at heart. The chef is an
yeah.
evil bastard. But
Oh
I
yeah.
want to give Nicholas Holt, who plays Tyler, to his credit. Like by this point in the movie, we hate him because after
Yeah.
what everything he's done. But in that scene, I still feel bad for him.
Yeah,
Which
he's being
that's and
humiliated.
that's and
Yeah.
that's a trait of a really good actor because
Mm.
he's a horrible person. But for some reason, I'm sympathizing him within this moment because I'm rooting for him to like get his dreams and like just please make a good dish. This poor guy just needs to make a good dish so he can like realize his dream for a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's I thought that's really a lot of credit. I give him credit for like taking on this kind of character, but also he has a lot of blurred lines. So like I did feel bad. I felt super bad for him in that scene. Like you said, he's literally being humiliated by everybody in that scene.
Mm.
And I love when Chef tries it. He's like, "This is quite." He almost looks like he's gonna praise him. This is quite bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Just like the
no."
cooking shows where they try to fake you out. He's like,
Yep,
this is bad." Yeah. And then
and then he
he
dismisses
pretty
him.
much
Yeah,
embarrasses him and whispers something in his ear. And
and
Tyler's
Tyler
last
walks away.
words are, "Yes, chef." Those are his
I
last words, and
love
he
that,
walks
and that's
away.
dark. This is the
And
darkness of the movie.
he walks into the back, so you don't see him what
Right.
happens to him, but we'll find out pretty quickly
So right
what
after
his fate
that, this
is.
is when Margot's asked to like collect a barrel for dessert or whatever, right?
Yeah, he brings her into the back, and Elsa is there, and he calls
Oh yeah,
out Elsa.
Elsa gets really
Yeah.
offended because Elsa wants to be the one to help Chef and get the barrel, but he's like, no, Margot will do it. So this is the first kind
So
of
this
tension we
is
see between
like
them two. Yeah,
this is Chef's way of testing Margot to make sure that she's like team giver, like she's on their
right.
side. So he trusts her to he gives her the keys to go get like a barrel of oil or something. I don't remember
Yeah, I
what it
forget what
was.
it is. Something for
And
dessert. It's needed for dessert
Elsa's
or
like, "Let
whatever.
me do it, chef." And he's like, "No, you fucked up. You didn't get it in the first place." And clearly, I knew like in the moment, like he was just doing this to test Margot.
Oh,
She
yeah.
didn't. He didn't actually give those orders to Elsa because you knew that Elsa was on top of her game and she wouldn't forget
Oh,
something like
she
that.
wouldn't fuck
So
up
she
anything, that
gets,
woman.
yeah, she gets super pissed off, and yeah, he lets Margot go to go to the barrel. Like nobody's following her or anything. She's
Right,
on her
but
own.
before she leaves the room, she
Yeah,
walks by a room, and we see that Tyler hung himself.
Tyler hung himself. Yeah,
That's pretty that was a
pretty
dark
dark.
image. Yeah,
Pretty
dark
fucking
image.
dark.
This is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. When people call this a comedy, I'm like, "This is really dark." So this is a mean, mean,
It's a
dark
comedy,
horror
and like I
comedy.
said, it's a comedy on what it has to say, but
It's a
and it
satire.
has
It's a
some
satire,
dry
yeah.
it has some dry
I
lines,
wouldn't
but
really yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I would use the word comedy. It's a dark satire, but,
yeah.
yeah, when I saw that scene, I'm like, "Ooh, Tyler." He was humiliated, then immediately was told to end his life, and he did.
Hmm. So yeah, we cut to Margot, and she goes, and I have this in my notes, man. You know the saying, "Curiosity killed the cat." Like, why did she go in the house? Like, she's free. She's like nobody's following her. She could have looked for a means of escape or something, but she was too curious. She wanted to find out more about Chef, I guess. And
I think she
she
might have
goes
also
into
thought
his
that, like,
house.
maybe we have cooks that are, like, not visible, but they could be following me, and if I don't bring the barrel back, I might be killed off. She probably had a bunch of things going on in her
Yeah.
head at that point, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
maybe, but she doesn't go for the barrel. She actually goes to his
Right,
house first
because she
before she
wants to
gets the barrel.
investigate and find more about
Yeah.
Chef, so she does go to his house, and then this is when we find out he was, like, where did he work as, like, at a typical, like, burger joint or something, like a yeah, he started at, like, almost like a
Well, it's
fast
super
food
creepy
chain.
because his house, you enter the house, you're not quite sure what to expect, and it's literally an exact replica of the restaurant.
Yeah,
The tables, and his bed is actually in like it's literally just the restaurant. There's no bedroom or anything because his bed is in the back wall. So he literally sleeps in his restaurant, like a
he's
replica of his
obsessed.
restaurant.
He's
He's
obsessed with
obsessed.
this, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when she goes to the dresser and sees the pictures. Yeah, what you
Yeah,
were
but he
talking
looked, like,
about.
happy, like he was a young cook at, like, like a diner almost or something like that, like,
Yeah, he's at a burger
not
joint and he's
fancy, yeah.
flipping a cheeseburger and he's got a big smile on his face. And you're
And
kind
we
of like,
see
I
it like he's
in that
actually, like, an
moment, I'm kind
employee
of
of the
like,
month. He has a framed
yeah, at
picture
that
of
moment, I'm
employee of the
kind of
month, yeah.
kind of like, oh wow, like how the
Like,
mighty have fallen almost.
you
Like,
start but
you
this is
kind of
where you
feel
see,
bad
like,
for him a little bit.
he started it with love, and this is what he ended up as. He started with the passion, and
Yeah,
now he's this despicable person who's hates who he's catering to. He's catering to these people who don't even appreciate his art.
yeah. It's one thing knowing it because he commented on that himself, but it's another thing like actually seeing it.
Right, you
You
see
know? Yeah,
the normal everyday guy he used to be, and he's just doing what he loved, and now this is what
he wasn't
society turned him
always
into.
an elite.
Yeah,
He
right,
didn't grow up in that.
right,
He created it. He was created from it. Yeah.
right. So she also finds a radio though, and she calls for help. Correct, and then she returns to the
Yep.
restaurant with the barrel. So then
Well,
obviously
you missed the big face off. So Elsa
oh
follows her to the
yes,
house.
Elsa's there. Yes,
Yeah, and
because Elsa can't let that shit go.
yeah, so Elsa creeps up on her, and we forgot to mention that Margot went to the kitchen and grabbed a knife, but she left the knife on the table or something like that.
Right
And
in that
Elsa comes
area,
up
yeah,
behind her and grabs the knife, and pretty much she says she attacks Margot and says, "Chef won't let me like." She's what does she say? She says, she says, um, "I won't let Chef replace me with you."
yeah.
Like she thinks that Chef is trying to replace
Yeah, well, she's
her
like, "I'm
with
not
Margot.
replaceable." He's like, you can't
Yeah,
replace me." She's like, "You're nothing." She pretty much she's talking
super
down to
jealous.
Margot.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, she's so jealous.
and
So they have their
Margot
fight
ends up
sequence.
killing her. Yeah,
Yeah,
with a knife.
stab her.
Just
Nice
kind
little
of
stabby
defends
stab.
herself and pushes the knife into her
And I
throat, and
like
she like
after she kills her, she wasn't like you can tell like this is because she's in shock. Like she didn't want to do that, but she is her survival mode. So she
mhm.
just she had to survive and do
She's
what she had to do.
relatable. She's a
Yeah,
badass, but she just killed
right.
somebody, so she's still kind of like,
She's a
oh my
human,
god,
like,
like
because
it
she
was an
still has
accident. She didn't
emotions,
mean to
she
do it.
still has feelings. She didn't just do it and, like, got up, like, a badass
like
and just kept
Rambo.
going.
Yeah,
Exactly. She wasn't like that. She was like she felt the emotion. She's like, "Oh shit, I just
yeah,
killed somebody."
yeah. It was a
So
total accident. She was just
right.
defending herself. Yeah,
So she brings the barrel back, and then we end up hearing sirens. It's the Coast Guard. The officer arrives because she called for help. And this is also a great because I knew right away. I don't know about you, but I had a feeling right away that this was all planned. Um, so everyone's convinced that they're saved, and like, oh, looking at him, but they can't say anything because Chef's pretty much they Chef made everybody like clean up a little bit. He made all the cooks clean up to make it look like they're actually just having a dinner. And what ends up happening is they see the Coast Guard. He sees the actor, the John Leguizamo character, George. Like, oh, were you from whatever that movie is? That's a piece of shit. He's like, yeah. Do you want an autograph? So he gives him an autograph, but obviously he writes on the napkin or whatever. He writes, "Help me." And as the Coast Guard guy, he's walking out. He looks at the note and then he stops and he pulls out his gun. And we're like, oh, they're like, yes, thank you. Like, you're here to save the day. And then he
yeah,
goes up to one of the tables and he like shoots the gun, but it's just a candle. And he lights the candle. I
yeah.
love that scene. And then Chef's like,
I
thank
love when he
you.
pulls the gun and he's not sure who to point it at, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're all pointing at Chef, and then he
Yeah.
finally points it at Chef, and he's like, "Put your hands in your head and kneel down," and
Yep.
then everyone starts cheering, and I think it's
False sense of
Lillian's
hope.
assistant Ted. He like turns and he's like, fuck
Yeah.
you," and he's like pointing to the whole staff. I'm like,
It's
"Oh
like,
my
you're
god,
done. Fuck you. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
he does say that. It's so
yeah,
funny. Because I love that they give, like, Chef's very demented because he wants to give them this false sense of hope
yeah."
just to shatter them right away. I'm like, damn, he is a dark dude.
So
So, yeah,
yeah,
I
then
love that he
he
just lights
lights
the
the candle.
candle.
The chef comes up and he's like, "Thank you, so
And
and
he
so
takes a
chef,
bow for
whatever."
his performance. The Coast Guard guy takes a
Yeah,
nice bow before he leaves. Cracks me up.
yeah.
Um, but then we get this is my favorite Margot line and interaction. She's smart. This is like she's a smart character. Um, so the dessert's being prepared, and Margot. I think they get a plate or something, right? And Margot starts mocking him, and she asks for like to send the food back, and she's pretty much tells Chef she's like, "You don't cook with love, you just cook with this obsession." And then she
Oh,
gives her
yeah, we're
this whole
getting into
spiel,
this.
right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, before we get into this, when right after the Coast Guard scene, this was I just want to highlight this because it was one of my favorite lines. It was pretty memorable. The chef, once they have that defeated look on their face, he like pretty much mocks them, and then he says the line, "I want you guys to think about like why didn't you try harder to fight back all night? Like you probably could have won." He
and
tells
that
them
was my
like
point
that's
earlier.
like the
Yeah,
real dagger, like, like this isn't like he admits like we're not some military operation. Like if you guys all banded together, like you probably could have overpowered us.
but he knew
Yeah.
the whole time they wouldn't because of the type of people they are. So
Hmm.
he's literally questioning them. But yeah, so I love that after they're preparing I love this Margot scene because she's outsmarts him. Like I said, she tells him
Yeah.
she's like, "You don't cook with love. You're a
Well,
you're
she
you're a
stands up
fake."
and claps. She
Yeah,
does the
yeah.
clap.
Oh
And
yeah, which is
she does the clap.
such badass. She's a
Everyone
badass.
turns around, even all the chefs in the kitchen, they all lift their
Yes.
head up. And now she's the center of attention. She fucking
Yep.
kills it in this scene. It's awesome.
Oh, it's
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
good.
So go ahead with the
So
combo. Yeah,
so
sorry.
she goes off on him pretty much, and she says, "You don't cook with love. You're bullshit." And then she goes like, "This is my favorite line from her." She's like, "The worst part about all this," she goes, "I'm still fucking hungry." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Damn, that is oh, Anya Taylor Joy."
She
I'm like,
calls him the fuck
just
out because he's like, "Of
yeah,
course I cook with love." She's like, "It's not love, it's obsession." And I was like, "Oh, damn." Like,
yep, yep.
she really got him. Like,
And
she's
then
not, yeah.
"Well, then what would you like to eat?" She's like, "You know what? How about a cheeseburger?" I'm like, "Yes, please. This is my girl right now." She's like, "Cheeseburger, can you do a side of fries?" She's like, "We can do a cheeseburger."
Yeah, she's
And
like,
then we
not
get
some
the full
fucking weird cheeseburger, like a
but he's like
real
taken aback. He's like
cheeseburger.
moved by it. He's like moved by it almost at the same
And
time.
yeah,
So then he creates the most delicious looking cheeseburger that made me
it's
instantly want
perfect.
to leave the theater and go get a cheeseburger right away. But
Yeah.
he cooks it. You notice he cooks this cheeseburger with a lot of love to contrast
Oh,
with
yeah.
what she said to him and what how the whole night has been going. He takes his time and he prepares this. Like I'm telling you, like my mouth was watering watching him prepare this cheeseburger. It looked delicious. So he serves it to her and she takes a bite. She's like, "Damn, that's a damn good cheeseburger." But then again, Margot is just too smart for everybody in this room. She's like, "I think she's, "I think I thought I had a bigger appetite than I do." She's like, "Can I take this to go?" That's
And
all
I
she
just wanna I
Yeah.
just wanna comment as this scene is playing out, hopefully everyone has watched the movie, but just to kinda set the
Yeah, don't
stage,
watch this if
this
you haven't watched the
scene
movie, yeah.
this scene is, like, super intense and
Yeah.
all the line deliveries are super deliberate and super slow, and there's a lot of pauses in between the interaction. It's really building that tension because
Yes.
it's almost like Chef is in like this trance and he's taken back to that photo that she saw in his house. And yeah, like not to cut you off, but I just wanted to highlight that. And she takes a bite and she's like, yeah. She pauses. She goes, I think my eyes were bigger than my stomach.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't say anything. And then Chef
Right.
is in the moment with her. There's nobody else in this room to Chef but him and her. And they're
Oh, yeah.
having this interaction. And he goes, well, that's quite all right. And she's like, "Do you have a to-go box?" And he pauses. He pauses extra
I
long
thought he was
here
gonna
because
kill her. I thought he was
this
gonna
is
kill
the
her at first,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah, he could have, and
Snapped. He
you
coulda
could
snapped.
tell like Margot was on the edge of her seat too. Like, did I go
Right.
too far with this?
Right.
And he finally says, "Of course, yeah, you can have a to-go box." So then he
Right, and
goes
that
and
was her
grabs it.
out. That's all she had to do to
Yeah,
get but I love how she gives him, like, the $7 or $15 tip or whatever before she walks out. But I feel so bad
yeah.
for, Anne,
Well, no,
Richard's
she
wife.
asked how
Yeah.
much it was,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
said
yeah,
it
he's
was
like, yeah,
9.95. So she
yeah,
leaves a 10. She has cash on her. She leaves a 10 on
yeah,
the table.
so funny. But she pretty much she starts walking out, but she's such a well-meaning person, she turns around because she's pretty much realizing, like, "It's just me leaving, like, I can't like, these guys aren't coming with me." So she
Hmm.
does turn around, and she has that, like, look of she feels bad, but then Anne, Richard's wife, I feel bad
Hmm.
for her too, she pretty much just, like, shushes her to go she's like, "Just leave. Go, it's alright. It is
Yeah,
what it
she gives
is."
her a little head nod. I
Yeah.
love that moment because again,
Yeah,
she
that's a
reminds her
touching
of her
moment. Yeah.
daughter, so
Yeah,
she wants her to
exactly.
escape. Yeah.
And she also knows what happened with between Richard and her, so that she's a bigger person in that moment as well. Because like I said, yeah, I think it does remind her of her daughter in a different way than the creepy Richard. But I don't know, I really like that little moment. It just, that worked for me.
What is your
Um
overall take on that scene and what the like what's going through Chef's mind? Because again, I had a different take the second and third time around that I did the first time around.
so specifically with Margot and the cheeseburger and
Well,
all that?
yeah, yeah. I'll just say what I think,
Okay. Yeah,
just to
you
kind
go
of
if
give
you
you
want to go
context.
first.
Like
Yeah.
when I first saw it, I thought he was kind of like she kind of almost hypnotized him, and he was kind of like in this like trance almost of being like that little kid that flipped burgers. But
That's
the
literally
more I watched it, I kind of was like, no, he's still present 100%, but he's having an authentic relationship. He's had one with
yeah,
her the entire movie,
right.
and he's really in that moment, like appreciating Margot for doing that and for giving him because he even says we forgot to mention he says a line to Margot earlier. He says, "I haven't desired to cook for someone in ages. Like I don't desire cooking for
Right.
anyone," and she gave him that like right at the
Because
end of
he's
his
not
life.
cooking for an elite person who doesn't give a shit. He's cooking for like,
Yeah.
someone who's in that same
So
service
her
industry.
giving him that allowed him to let her go, and I thought
Yeah,
that was
I
yeah.
think it's a mix of what you said from both, but I don't think he
Okay.
was hypnotized. I think it's she took advantage from the information she got in his house. She saw that he started out as like a diner cook and that but he loved it. He was an employee of the month. And I think she brought it back and she chose a cheeseburger on purpose because that's something that, he could love making. It's not this pretentious bullshit that's not food. So I think when he took the care because it brought him back to the love of making a simple dish and he appreciated that's why I think he let her go because after all
Oh,
that
yeah.
she's still asking for it to go. He didn't get offended because he's like no, she actually put me to work in a good way. Like I made what
Mhm.
I wanted to make. So I think it's
Yeah.
all of the above. I don't think
I
I think he was aware the whole time of
yeah.
the everything happening and what she was doing, but I just
Well,
think he
I think
acknowledged
my
that. Yeah.
overall point is the audience watching it, thinks it's like role play, and even Margot is role playing in that scene, but the
She's doing
chef
whatever
isn't
she
role
thinks,
playing.
yeah.
The
No, no,
chef
no,
is
no,
like
no.
not he's not role playing. He's actually like having an authentic experience, and Margot is the one that's like pretending she's in a burger joint, but
And
the
you can
chef is
tell when he's
totally
yeah, yeah, I agree. You can
yeah.
tell when he's cooking the burger, he's moved as he's like, he's feeling all the emotions as he's cooking it. Like that's
Yeah,
an authentic
yep.
reaction right there in that moment. That's
Mhm.
authentic. but he's still
Yeah.
aware. Like he knew. I mean, even if he knows she's trying to get out, he still appreciated that she did that because he's not stupid. He knows she's trying to do what she can to escape, but he appreciated,
Yeah.
I guess, how she went about it, as I would say. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's still gonna go
Ralph
with this plan for the
Fiennes,
rest of
man.
them.
Ralph Fiennes and
He should have been
yeah,
nominated for. I know it's
so
a
good.
horror movie, so he won't. But this movie did not. He did not get enough love for his performance in this movie.
Yeah, him
It's
and
so
Anna
quiet.
Taylor-Joy in that
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
are just so good together, yeah.
And it's not
So
like a
awesome.
bombastic, like him lashing out. Like it's for the most of the movie, he's very quiet and like he's just subtle in his
Mhm.
performance for most of it. I mean, he shouts here and there, but what a great badass. He's awesome. He's an awesome actor, character
Yeah.
actor. So yeah, so she takes it to go, and the staff and him allow her to leave. Um, so then she goes to the Coast Guard, the boat that was docked, and she's trying to escape the island and start the boat. So then we go back to the crew, and they find out that it's like their dessert is like an elevated s'mores dish, and he explains like this is the most despicable dish, like traditional like pretty much
Yeah.
calling talking shit about s'mores.
Yeah.
Um, so the staff they start covering the floor with like crushed graham crackers, and they put like these. They're making a s'more out of the guests. They're putting like marshmallows on the guests and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? How is this movie gonna end? And
Yeah.
they have like hats made of chocolate put on them too. I'm like, what is
Mhm.
happening? Um,
Right
but I
before we get
also
to
yeah,
this
yeah, I
dish
also
too.
want to say something too because it's also one of my favorite lines. We didn't talk too much about George's the movie star's assistant.
Mhm.
I love how she's like, "Can I go?" And he's like, "Do you have a student loan?" She's like, "Nope." He's like, "No, you're gonna die." Because she had the privilege to like pay off her
That was
loans.
pretty
She went
mean,
to
I
like Brown
know.
or yeah, I was like,
She seemed like a good person, though,
I know.
but
I
she
just
was
love how
stealing from him, so
yeah, yeah, she was
yeah,
stealing, but I
they were
love
all
how
bad
she was
people,
like,
yeah.
I love how he like determined her fate, like asking if she had student loans. I crack
And
up
he knew
every
the
time.
answer, he just
Oh
wanted
yeah,
her
he
to
knew.
say it, like because this scene was very much about acceptance, and,
Yep, yep,
I love right before they do this, he brings up right after I'm sorry, Margot leaves, he brings up, payment. He's like, we now have to accept payment for the
yep,
night before our final course. And I love this way of kind of letting the audience know what's going on in the customers' minds because he says that and they all just start like the guys they all throw their cards on the
yeah.
table
They're like,
and
fuck
the
it,
old
whatever.
yeah I think by them throwing
They
their cards
accept
on the
their fate. They
table
know their fate.
and paying the bill, it's kind of them giving up and accepting
Oh yeah.
what
Well,
that they're gonna die.
oh yeah, because the next scene. I mean, so we'll just set the stage. They're setting them up as the middle of a s'more. So the marshmallow and the chocolate. So these guests are gonna be. I mean, everyone's gonna be set on fire, obviously. So, but I love before they, and this is including the staff. Everyone's dying, like everyone. But I love before he sets it on fire, his crew, you know, he says, "We love you, chef," and even the guests they say, "I love you, chef," because they just
Yeah.
accepted it. Like they're like, you know, this is it. So they
Mhm.
say, "I love you, chef," and then we get the scene of them getting set on fire, and I love how it's like the chocolate's melting, but it's almost like they're melting too. So the guests are killed. That's a dark, mean ending. I love it. They all die. I love it.
Yeah.
But then, so Margot gets on the boat, and as she hears the explosion, so she's like, "Oh fuck, they all died." But I love how she's like, and she's on her boat, she just gets that cheeseburger out, and then I love how the last shot of the movie is her taking a bite of the cheeseburger. So good. And then she uses a copy of the menu to wipe her mouth to say the one last "fuck you." Love it.
Yeah.
Love this movie's awesome.
It's a little ambiguous though because the boat dies on her, so she's kind of stuck in the
Yeah,
water. So
but I got the vibe that she's gonna
hopefully
drink.
she
Someone's gonna find her. Yeah,
survives.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah. Again, we don't
she
know
survived. Yeah,
how far out the island is, so
right.
it's a happy ending for Margot because she
But it's a
lives.
dark
But
ending overall. That's a mean
yeah,
ending. It's a mean ending.
yeah, and again, another reason why I didn't love this movie as much the first time around. Um, I kind of thought they rushed it a little bit with everyone dying and kind of accepting their fate. I didn't think we got enough build up to that, but watching it again, it made more sense. And I think you highlighted it like they're rich and privileged and they're
Right,
elites and they've never had to fight for anything in their lives.
right.
So like the
And the
idea
one
of
time they
them
actually should physically be fighting, they still can't even be bothered to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's a comment on that
yeah,
for
100%.
sure. Yeah. So I did pick up on that the second time around. So I thought that was clever too. Yeah.
No, I'm so happy that you enjoyed this one. So, because when we did the top 10 list, I said you have to watch
Hadn't
this one,
seen
so
it.
we have to
Yeah.
talk about it. Yeah, this is
Yeah. You
awesome.
were
Yeah, this is
excited
a
for
great
me.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a really fun episode. So that's the menu, guys. There we go. Cuts with Margot escaping on the boat, and everyone's dead. Everyone is
Yes, I
done.
like my mean endings.
Yeah. That's pretty much. I don't really have any final thoughts in the movie. Just we kind of touched on a lot of the metaphors and what they were trying to say. So guess we can just go right into our never split up moments. This is going to be an interesting one. So you won last week, so you
Okay,
get to go
one.
first.
Okay.
You get your pick.
All right. Well,
Why
thanks
don't we?
guys for voting.
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
sure you vote again. I give it away a little bit. My never split up moment because it's like so stupid of these people, but they're stupid people. So if I was in this situation with a group of guys and they said get a 45-second start, go high, goes try to escape. What they should have done, what they all do, they are little bitches and they all like sprint and they separate. What they should have done was group together and try to take out these fuckers, try to take him down and kill him. So my never split up moment is that they all were selfish and they just tried to get away individually rather than banding together, taking these guys down and then saving the woman who they left behind. They were gonna just leave them there. So yeah, that's my never split up moment. These guys they just ran for themselves instead of coming up with a plan. Because they, like you said, they had a 45-second start. They could have figured something out, grab something, do something. So yeah, pretty dumb moment. Pretty dumb moment.
yeah. When I first saw the movie, I'm like, come on, guys, you can't like put up a better fight than that. And again, I wish we saw a little bit more
Better
of
fight,
that
no
scene.
fight. They put up no
Yeah,
fight.
I know. To their credit, though, some of those w- employees were big dudes.
I
Like they
know.
were intimidating bouncers. So
But like
I don't think they would have won anyway. But at least you gotta
Like, they had
try.
those 3
Yeah,
young Wall Street guys, they had
yeah,
they
yeah.
had like, they could have tried something together, like, instead they're yelling
Hmm.
at each other for them following, like, it's almost like, "Damn, these guys are actually stupid." So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
my, never split up moment.
Okay. Great.
I
I
couldn't give
actually
one to
have.
Margot because I love her, yeah.
Yeah, I was stuck between two. One of them was Margot. I commented on it earlier. Was Margot
Yeah, when
going
she
into the
yeah.
house instead of trying to escape? But I'm actually not going to go with that one. I'm going to go with the same moment you went with, but I'm going to go with the ladies. The ladies
Oh.
should have, knowing all the men were gone, they should have taken the fuck out of Catherine. They should have fucking killed Catherine and tried to escape, or at least like tied her up.
I
They
think they
were
were
totally
terrified of
outnumbered.
her. They were terrified
Yeah,
of her
well,
because she was
once
like
they were at dinner, once and I know this was played out for comedy, but once Catherine tells them it was my idea and like I'm not innocent in all this, you're all gonna die tonight. It was my idea to do this. I think it was Lillian that's like says, "Give me the wine," and they start
oh,
drinking
yeah, she's
wine.
like,
It's
"Fuck it, you
like
wanna
I
go
would have
on with"
taken that wine bottle and fucking smashed it over her
But you know what
head,
I'm
and
thinking? Like,
they
was
could have like
Elsa in the
barricaded
background?
themselves.
Is Elsa in the back? Because if
So
she
what
is,
is she gonna take on
I'm not
5
fucking with
women?
Elsa. I'm not fucking with
Oh,
Elsa,
come
man.
on, man. Like if you're Anna Taylor, if you're Margot, she's a capable young. I mean, um she kills her later on in the movie. So
Yeah,
2
who
against
knows? Margot
5.
must had some.
Yeah, I think they had the numbers there. They could have not killed them, but if they would have just like kind of captured them and then maybe barricaded themselves, found like knives or weapons, and then they could have maybe
Well, let's be honest.
like
The only person who
fought
would
their
have
way
been
out.
capable of doing anything would have been Margot. The other, they're all useless. They're all
You think
useless.
so? Yeah,
They're
I
all
mean,
useless.
the
These
assistant,
guys.
she was a younger girl. She could
Yeah,
have maybe she could have yeah.
she's wants the easy way out. She's stealing
They
money. That's how
just
she's.
it
Yeah,
was so obvious that they had the upper hand in that moment. Like the
they all.
guys were
Both of them. Yeah.
well, there was more workers than there was customers that were chasing them, like male employee. There was a lot of males after them, so they actually were outnumbered. But the women definitely outnumbered Catherine and Elsa. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
but
with
they
them.
also didn't have time to like plan. Like, the guys had
Well,
their
neither did
like
the
little.
guys.
Well, they had their
Come on,
head start.
stop
They could have.
nitpicking. I didn't nitpick you. Come on.
No, no, no. I'm saying like the girls. But like, where was the chef at that point too? I don't know who was in that room.
He wasn't there. He
Okay,
deliberately
I can't
didn't
remember
stay
that
in the
scene.
restaurant.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
He deliberately had Catherine take them in and he stayed outside. Yeah.
okay.
that was the whole point, was all the men were outside
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
trying to
Okay.
escape and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, my
I don't
message
think
about
they
this,
would
they're
have
all
been
dumbasses.
successful, but
Neither
again,
I don't think the guys would have either, but they should have tried.
yeah. And all the guys, like you said, are like, you don't blame them because they don't know how to fight, but Margot is in that room. Margot should have been smarter. So my moment is almost mainly Margot because she's the one with the brains in that room, and she should have, like, maybe tried to talk to
Yeah.
the women and
She was cooking up her plan for later in the day, but yeah, yeah, they're all dumb. They're all so dumb,
yeah, it
all these
wasn't at
people.
that point yet. She didn't go to the house
Yeah,
yet.
no, not yet. She was
Yeah,
just in shock because she's told they're gonna die. But yeah,
I
they're
know.
all so dumb.
This is a tough one to pick. There
Yeah, because it's
wasn't a
not a
lot of like
traditional
obvious.
horror either, but
Yeah, it's a very
there are
smart movie
still
too.
dumb decisions because these people are dumbasses.
But it
Yeah,
does
those
a
are good
good job of
movies.
explaining why those
Right,
decisions were
right. Why
dumb.
they
Like,
make those?
that's
Why
pretty
they
much
don't
the
do
whole
anything?
commentary
Right.
on the movie. So it's kind of hard for us to be like, oh, they should have just fought back. Well, like, no, that's the point. That's
I
what they're
know.
trying to
I
say.
know.
So, but yeah, guys, vote for your favorite. This is going to be an interesting one. And
Kind of the same one, just different genders, really.
yeah, same. Yeah, same. It was literally the same scene. It was going on at the same time. But maybe if they both would have fought, the women could have
Right. Or one could have
fought,
came
and
back for the
then
other, and then they could have met up, and then
yeah.
really
Well,
done some
Tyler was there.
damage.
Remember, he was outside the window peeking in.
Creep.
Yeah, guy's fucking weird.
Maybe he would have ended up killing them if they tried, because he's a psycho.
Yeah, right. True. So yeah,
Tyler.
please vote. We're gonna post the poll again. It's on gonna be on Spotify and Twitter and Instagram later on in the week.
Yes.
So let us know what you think. If we missed a moment, definitely let us know. But let's get right into our scores,
Okay.
shall we?
Yes. Let's do it.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go
Whatever you
first?
want. I'll go first because it's on my top five, so it's kind of I'm like showing my hand a
Okay.
little bit from that
Yeah, go ahead.
episode. Um, this is a smart ass movie. I can't like the little critiques I have. There's explanations for the critiques. My biggest critique is that I wanted that scene to go on longer, the hide and seek segment. Other than that, this is a very demented, twisted horror satire that I'll pop on every so often. I'll rewatch it. It was in my top 10 of the year, so I always look back fondly on it. I loved Anya Taylor Joy, character Margot. Ralph Fiennes was a great, great, great villain. I think Hong Chau as Elsa, she's a scene stealer and she's not getting enough credit for this movie.
Hmm.
Her like deadpan humor delivery is hilarious. And I think the whole cast was fantastic. Um, I think this was my number five, and I think I gave Smile around. Smile's my number. I'm gonna give this an 8.4.
Okay. Solid score. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you
very
gave
good
Smile
score.
an 8.5,
Yeah, I did.
right? So just okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I this movie nails it. It's very hard to pull something that has so many themes going on, and that is a satire but takes itself seriously. And we kind of talked about this with Smile, believe it or not, how execution matters. And
Yes,
the acting and the intense scenes were just really brought out by the actors. You mentioned it, Ralph Fiennes, Anna Taylor Joy, and the rest of them were so good. And it's not like an all timer for me. Obviously, it's a scaled down movie, but it works. So like, this isn't gonna be like a movie that I always go back to, but I can definitely see myself having a good time with this in the
yeah,
future.
yeah,
It's just, it doesn't really do many things wrong. Like, you did the little nitpick with the guys running away. They you could have showed that a little bit longer. You know me, I defer to more backstory and stuff, but I think they gave enough,
they
especially
did.
for
I
Chef. I
agree.
think with his acting and seeing the whole burger scene play out, I think you kind of get a complete story of where he's coming from, and especially the second time around. Like I said, I watched him a little bit more closely, and I realized the lines he was saying like meant something different than what I originally thought. So I thought they did that beautifully. I'm gonna
The
give
script is so
this,
good. The script is so good. That you keep mentioning that
yeah,
line delivery. The script is excellent.
hmm, yeah, so good. It just works. I'm gonna give this Yeah, this is an interesting one.
It's
I'm gonna give
hard because,
this.
like you said, it's not an all-timer, but it's something I'm gonna look back and like that's a damn good movie that I'm gonna rewatch,
Mhm.
every so often and show to people.
Yeah.
That's what I really wanna show this to people.
Mhm. I'm gonna give this an 8.2.
Okay, so we're not very far
8.2.
off. Now, would this would have ended up in your top 10 if you saw it
Yeah.
before the end of the year? Okay,
If I saw it multiple times, again, if I
okay,
rushed and
yeah,
seen it, I probably would have gave it in the 7 range,
okay,
after the first time because it was a good enough movie, but seeing it again, man, yeah, it really elevated
okay.
it for me.
So this
So,
gets a high recommend
8.2.
from both of us. So everybody, I hope you saw the movie if you're watching this, but check it out, show it to your friends, let us know what your opinion. There's a lot of themes in this, so we'd like to have a
Yeah,
conversation
again,
about
watch it
that. Yeah,
again. If you only watched it once, definitely watch it again. You're gonna get a lot. We kind of highlighted our favorite parts, but
right.
this movie is just littered with stuff you can pick up on. I'm sure if I watched it a fourth time, I'd pick up on even more stuff.
Yeah,
So
you'll always take something different from this movie or something additional from this movie every time you watch it.
yeah,
Awesome.
great. Yeah. So do you want to announce what we're doing next week?
I think that you can announce it because I think you started coming up with some of the ranking ideas. So
Okay.
let's introduce the first one.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna go away from the reviews for a week. We've been doing a lot of reviews, and we're definitely going to stick with that. We want to have these in depth discussions on horror movies, but we're going to change gears next week. We're going to do our second ever ranking episode. We're going to be ranking our top 10. Are we going to do a top 10, Anthony?
We're gonna do a top 10, but I'm a sucker, so
Okay.
I'll probably throw a couple honorable mentions in there.
Yeah, we'll do a
Yeah.
couple of that, but we're going to do our top 10 favorite classic horror movie villains. So we're and not just slasher. We're gonna do all horror movies, our favorite classic villains. I think our prerequisite is gonna be pre 2000. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be what we're gonna cover. So anything before 2000, we're
Correct.
gonna give you guys our top 10 favorite horror movie villains of all time. So that's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait to do that. I love going over different rankings with you, and I know a lot of other people like to hear rankings, and we can't wait for you guys to hear our next episode and comment on your favorites and whose list you like better. That'll probably be our poll for next week. Will be and I'm just kind of spitballing at this point. We'll probably be like, whose list did you agree with more, instead of
Yes.
because we're obviously not gonna
And
have a
just
never split up
remember, we're
moment.
doing pre 2000s, so that's what we're picking from. You need to earn your stripes to be a classic villain. So 25 years at least. So no Art the
Yeah,
Clown, no stuff like that, because he has to
yeah,
earn
and
his
there's so many.
stripes.
We wanted to split it up too, so
Yeah.
we'll probably do a separate list later on of like modern
Right.
horror movie villains. But for now, we're gonna stick with the classics. I'm sure you guys will have an idea of who's on our list. I mean, just look at our backgrounds, so you'll probably get a good idea if you're
Uh
watching on
oh.
YouTube. You can kind
Spoiler
of, yeah,
alert.
but that's okay. People might be surprised by a couple of our rankings and where they land, and
I'm gonna be
I'm really
surprised by
excited
some
for
of
that.
yours after last week's episode. I don't know what you're gonna do anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so
Cool.
yeah, that's it, guys. That's the menu. Definitely like us on Facebook. We're at Never Split Up Podcast on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Never Split Up Pod. Please, we love hearing from you guys. Give us any feedback. If you have a recommendation for a movie you want us to cover, we're definitely going to take recommendations. Let us know what you thought about the menu. Vote in our polls.
And subscribe to YouTube, and tell your friends to subscribe on YouTube if you guys prefer the videos. Like, we really want to get that up and running.
Yeah, we really want to start pushing the YouTube guys. So let's subscribe to our YouTube. I hate to be too pushy, but let's try to get
Subscribe,
some of those
hit the
subscribers
notification
up.
bell, hit that
But
like button. What do they say?
yeah, but yeah, I know we appreciate everyone listening and on the audio format too. I know a lot of our audience listens on Apple and Spotify, so we definitely appreciate you guys too. But if you have YouTube, if you could help us out and you like the podcast, definitely subscribe to the YouTube because that'll help us grow on there too. Because we want to kind of make this available to as many people as possible to bring them into our community. So, any final thoughts, Anthony, on the menu or what's coming up?
I'm excited for next week's episode. It's going to be a big one. And I'm really happy that we're still getting awesome movies released in theaters. In 2022, 2023. Let's I hope 2023 gives another few bangers like we had last year.
2023 starting off strong already. I mean, there's a lot of box
Yes,
office hits. I mean, Megan. I
yes.
saw Megan
I saw Megan
was
as
a
well.
great success.
We'll cover
I
that.
me and my fiance just went and saw Missing today.
I saw
That was
Missing as well.
I think it did
Have
pretty
you seen
well.
Have you seen Searching? Which
Yes,
is
yeah,
the
we saw
okay? So
Searching in
maybe
theaters.
we'll cover those because it was kind
So
of fun with her.
that's a little companion movie. We can cover
Yes,
both of those. But that did really
yes,
well. I think it's opening weekend for a smaller movie, I think.
yes.
But
And then we
yeah,
have some big ones coming up. So yeah, it's gonna be a good year.
good year for us. Yep. For sure.
Awesome.
For us horror movie fans. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next week for our ranking episode of our favorite classic horror movie villains. See you guys later.
See ya.